So, Max Caulfield is back in Arcadia Bay, but it's not all chill vibes and photo ops. She's having these wild visions of a massive storm turning the town into a disaster movie set. It's giving final season of a prestige drama, and honestly, we are stressed for her. The girl Max saves is none other than Chloe Price, her childhood bestie. They basically become partners in crime, or more accurately, partners in time. Max discovers she can rewind time, which is a total game changer, and they start messing with the timeline like it's a TikTok filter. Okay, so using her time rewind powers, Max solves the mystery of what happened to Chloe's friend, Rachel. But, like, every action has a reaction, and tweaking the past comes with a massive price tag. The storm she's been seeing in her visions is the universe's version of a receipt. After all the Arcadia Bay drama, Max basically ghosted her powers for years. She threw herself into photography and landed a sweet gig at Caledon University in Vermont. It's her quiet girl artist era, trying to leave the chaos behind. But we all know that's not how these stories go. At Caledon, Max builds a whole new squad. There's Moses, the nerdy astrophysicist, and Safi, the super glamorous poetry student who also happens to be the president's daughter. It's a whole new cast of characters, and you just know the drama is brewing under the surface of this idyllic campus. Things get real dark, real fast. After a stargazing night, Safi is found dead. Max, spiraling from the trauma, accidentally shifts into a parallel timeline where Safi is still alive. Now she's juggling two realities, which sounds absolutely exhausting, and is definitely not good for her mental health. It turns out Safi has powers too. She's a shapeshifter, and she's been causing chaos to get revenge on the faculty she blames for her friend Maya's death. When her mom's involvement comes to light, Safi loses control, her consciousness splinters, and another gnarly storm starts brewing. It's a whole mood. In a moment of pure desperation, Max grabs Safi and a photo, pulling them both back in time. Faced with an impossible choice again, she refuses to repeat past mistakes. Instead, she chooses a third option, merging the timelines to save Safi and stop the storm. Main character energy for real. After merging the timelines, Max's rewind powers start making a comeback. She decides she can't run from them anymore. This ability is meant to help people, and after everything she's been through, she's ready to own it. This is her superhero origin story, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Meanwhile, in a totally different vibe, someone who looks a lot like Chloe is dealing with some serious nightmares. These aren't just bad dreams. They feel like actual memories, getting more intense and confusing. It's a whole psychological thriller subplot, and we have no idea what's going on. The nightmares are messing with her head, blurring the lines between what's real and what's not. The image of Max pointing a gun feels so vivid, it's making her question everything. If you know, you know. That feeling when a memory hits so hard it feels more real than reality. She knows she's alive and has a decade of memories to prove it, but there's this deep, unsettling feeling that she's also dead. It's a total paradox, living with the ghost of a choice someone else made. Her own death feels more real than her actual life, which is a major mind fudge. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. This alternate, Chloe knows there's only one person who can explain the time-bending weirdness she's experiencing, Max. But the recurring vision of Max holding her at gunpoint is making this potential reunion feel super ominous. The vibes are definitely off, and she needs answers like yesterday. Back in the main timeline, the real Max returns from a professional trip to find her Vermont life waiting. The whole scene is cozy and autumnal, a stark contrast to the chaos she's usually dealing with. It's a moment of calm before the inevitable storm that follows her everywhere. The peace is short-lived. Max gets back to campus and walks straight into a nightmare. The whole place is on fire, there's Abraxas graffiti everywhere, and students are trapped. It's pure chaos, and she's thrown right back into disaster mode. Her life really never has a chill moment. In the middle of the Inferno, she sees her friend Moses trapped and in danger. The horror of the situation is overwhelming, and in a moment of panic, she realizes her normal rewind power isn't going to cut it here. The stakes just went from 0 to 100 real quick. Max does the unthinkable. She jumps back into a photo, traveling days into the past to prevent the fire. She knows it's a risky move that could have devastating consequences, but seeing her friends die wasn't an option. Now she's back on Friday, with the fire set to happen on Sunday. Now that she's back in the past, Max knows she has to find Moses. He's the only one who can help her figure out what to do next. As a physicist who studies time travel, he's the perfect person to have in your corner when you've just broken the laws of reality. Max walks into Moses' office to find him getting a job offer from the new university president, a guy who is low-key trying to fire her. The conversation is awkward, to say the least. It's clear this new president, Teller, is not a fan and is shaking things up at Caledon. Max finally tells Moses she's from the future, showing him a picture of the campus on fire as proof. He immediately gets it and they start strategizing. They decide to run some tests on her powers to get her ready for whatever the weekend throws at them. It's time for a training montage. Moses sets up a series of tests to sharpen Max's rewind skills. The first is a classic murder mystery scenario involving an anime character named Swordmaster Frostbite. Max has to use her powers to explore the room and find clues to figure out who the killer is. It's nerdy, but it's for science. The next test involves breaking into a locked cabinet, which Max finds oddly therapeutic. It's not every day your physicist friend encourages you to commit a little light B&E for science. Moses is basically trying to cheer her up, while also preparing her for a potential catastrophe, which is peak bestie behavior. Things get a little too real when a faulty kettle starts a small fire in Moses' office. It's a startling reminder that even small changes to the timeline can have unexpected consequences. Max is already altering the past, and it's making her second-guess everything. This is not going to be easy. Max is spiraling, worried that coming back to the past was a huge mistake. She's terrified of making things worse, but Moses reassures her. They decide their strategy is to find out how the fire starts and only change that one specific thing, minimizing the potential for more chaos. The pressure of the situation brings up old trauma for Max, specifically the impossible choice she had to make with Chloe in Arcadia Bay. She's haunted by the idea that you can't save everyone. Moses reminds her that this time is different. She's older, has more control, and has him to help. Max heads to her photography class, where she gives her students an assignment to take a picture of a stranger. The last time she did this, it was a total bust. To inspire her introverted students, she decides to lead by example and find a stranger to photograph herself. The stranger Max photographs gives her a weird sense of déjà vu. After a fascinating conversation about the observer effect, Max realizes the person she's talking to is actually her shape-shifting friend, Safi, in disguise. Safi's return to campus days before a massive fire is a huge red flag. Max checks in with her student, Loretta, who is digging into the Abraxas secret society for her podcast. When Max asks about a potential protest march, Loretta denies it, but hints that she's onto a huge story that could expose Abraxas and the university administration. The plot is definitely thickening. Max decides to snoop on her student Reggie's phone call, hoping to find some leads about Abraxas and the fire. It's a morally gray area, but with the fate of the campus at stake, she's willing to bend the rules. Loretta, ever the budding investigative journalist, even offers her shotgun mic. Max runs into Yasmin, Safi's mom and the former university president. Yasmin is worried sick about Safi, who has gone completely silent. She begs Max for any information, sensing that she knows more than she's letting on. Max is caught between protecting Safi's secret and maintaining Yasmin's trust. Since she's not leaving for her trip anymore, Max decides to go to her ex-girlfriend Amanda's open mic night at the Snapping Turtle. It's a chance to gather more intel about the campus vibe and potential suspects. Her reality is already completely different from the one she lived before. Max and Amanda catch up before the show. Amanda mentions that the town is a tinderbox with a lot of anger directed at Caledon, especially since the new president wants to expand the university's footprint. She also names Lucas Colmenero, a pretentious ex-professor, as the one stirring the pot. Max confronts Lucas, a total jerk who used to teach at Caledon. After listening to his insufferable podcast, she learns that the Abraxas house is located on Fremont Street and is part of the university's controversial expansion plan. This is a huge lead. The fire might start there. Things take a wild turn when the Chloe from the other reality shows up at the same bar. She gets into a fight and is kicked out, but she's determined to find Max. This collision of timelines and characters is getting more complicated by the minute, and the tension is palpable. Max makes her way to the Abraxas house on Fremont Street, convinced this is where the fire will start. She starts exploring the trashed property, looking for any clues that could explain what's about to happen. The place has a seriously creepy vibe, filled with firewood and signs of a recent break-in attempt. At the same time, the alternate Chloe is being interrogated by campus security after sneaking back into the bar. To save herself, she drops Max's name as her faculty sponsor. This brings Max to the attention of security, who are now monitoring Fremont Street, where they just spotted a shady woman. Max finds Loretta snooping in the basement of the Abraxas house. Suddenly, they hear people outside and realize the house is about to be demolished, with them inside. They're locked in and the countdown to detonation has begun. It's a full-on action movie scene, and they have to think fast. In the most shocking twist yet, Chloe shows up out of nowhere and helps Max and Loretta escape the demolition. Max is in total shock. Seeing Chloe, alive and real after all these years, is impossible. They barely have time to process it before they have to run from the cops. Back at Max's place, the reality of the situation starts to sink in. Chloe is real, but Max is overwhelmed with questions. Chloe finally gets a chance to sleep after a long and bizarre day, leaving Max alone to grapple with the fact that her best friend has somehow returned from the dead. The next morning, Max and Chloe finally talk. Chloe explains her visions and the feeling that she should be dead. Max confirms it, telling her about the original timeline where she died to save Arcadia Bay. They theorize that Max's timeline merging to save Safi somehow brought Chloe back too. Chloe is reeling from the revelation that her memories of their life on the road together aren't real, at least not for this Max. It's a heartbreaking and confusing moment as they both try to understand their shared but separate pasts. The existential crisis is hitting hard for both of them. Just as they're unpacking a decade of timeline weirdness, Max tells Chloe about the impending campus fire. Chloe, ever the ride or die, is immediately on board to help. They decide to split up. Chloe will meet Moses to discuss her visions, while Max investigates the fire suspects. Max runs into Vin, the new president's assistant and former Abraxas president. He's stressed and cagey, revealing that President Teller is furious about the delayed demolition. Vin advises Max to look into Abraxas's history, hinting that the secret society wasn't always so secretive. Max and Loretta team up to dig through the university newspaper archives. They discover that Abraxas used to be a women's equality league, and that they hold a secret masked party called Mabon every year on this exact weekend. This party seems to be the key to everything. Max breaks into President Teller's office and finds a weird email that reveals Safi has been impersonating him. Safi is playing mind games, trying to get her hands on an old file from the archives. Max realizes Safi is one step ahead of her, manipulating everyone from the shadows. While Max is chasing Safi's ghost, Chloe is checking in from her meeting with Moses. They're having a classic mad scientist friend hangout, and Chloe seems to be handling the existential dread with her usual humor. Their conversation is a brief moment of levity in a very heavy situation. Chloe's meeting with Moses gets intense. He explains that her existence is a paradox, a result of Max merging multiple realities. He warns that if she keeps encountering these paradoxes, like remembering things that didn't happen, she could become unfixed from reality. The theory alone triggers another vision. Chloe's vision ends with her physically vanishing from Moses' office for a few seconds. It's terrifying proof that Moses' theory is correct. Her connection to this reality is unstable, and the visions are pulling her back to the moment Max made the choice about Safi, threatening to unravel everything. Max finally confronts Safi at the lake. Safi is emotionally volatile, admitting she came back for Max. She's been having her own horrible visions of her death, and she blames Max for doing something to her when she merged the timelines. The reunion is charged with resentment and confusion. Safi forces Max to remember what really happened inside the storm. Max recalls seeing not only the splintered versions of Safi, but also Chloe, trapped there. In her effort to save them both, she inadvertently tied their fates together, trapping them in a shared nightmare of their own deaths. Chloe heads back to the Snapping Turtle to investigate the protesters. Amanda tells her Max was just there, meeting with a student, and that she seems to be glowing. Chloe finds this both sweet and a little suspicious, deciding to dig into the protest group before catching up with Max. Chloe infiltrates the protesters' online forum and finds some seriously alarming posts. One user, Cardinal Sin, is making explicit threats of violence. She shows Amanda, who confirms their fears. They now know the protest has the potential to turn into a full-blown riot, and they need to warn campus security. Max and Chloe meet back up, and in a moment of pure chaos, Chloe steals Safi's bag, which contains an Abraxas Mabon party mask. They now have a way to get into the secret party. They escape in a canoe, sharing a moment of calm and connection on the lake before diving back into the madness. On the canoe, Chloe gives Max a 3D printed action figure of Super Max for her birthday. It's a sweet, funny moment that cuts through all the tension. They talk about their messy situation, and Max admits that having Chloe back has made her feel more alive than she has in years. Max and Chloe arrive at the Mabon party at the Abraxas house. The vibe is super creepy, a mix of pagan ritual and college party. They decide to split up. Max will look for a second mask so they can both go undercover, and Chloe will start sleuthing. The plan is to meet at the bonfire later. Max confronts Reggie, the Abraxas president, who confesses that he's under pressure from President Teller and the board to destroy the society's innermost secret, which is hidden in the basement's Hall of Secrets. He can't get in, but he's clearly freaked out about the whole situation. Chloe successfully breaks into the Hall of Secrets. Instead of some ancient artifact, she finds a box of old photos from a Maybon party decades ago. The photos seem to document something serious, providing a tangible clue to the society's dark past. She knows she has to show them to Max. Max, meanwhile, has been drugged by the blood wine at the party and is having a major trip. She ends up in a bathroom where her own reflection starts talking to her, planting seeds of self-doubt and telling her she already knows how this story ends, in tragedy. It's a brutal confrontation with her deepest fears. Chloe finds Max tripping in the basement just as she discovers what the innermost secret really is, a human skeleton in a box. It's the remains of the student who died at the party decades ago. Before they can react, someone attacks Chloe with a sledgehammer trying to get to the box. The attacker turns out to be Safi, who called the cops to break up the party and create a diversion so she could steal the body. She escapes, leaving Max and Chloe to deal with the aftermath. The party is over, the bonfire is out, but they're no closer to stopping the real fire. The next morning, Max wakes up in the university planetarium. Chloe and Moses have been up all night trying to piece together the clues. As they talk, Max's power does something new. It projects the images and sounds from the old photos into the room, letting them witness the student's accidental death. They realize the files Safi stole from the archives must be related to the cover-up of the death. Moses adds more bad news. Someone broke into the chem lab and stole a powerful fire starter. The fire is still going to happen, but they have no idea who will start it or how. Max reveals a devastating piece of information she's been hiding. In the original timeline of the fire, Chloe was there. She saw Chloe passed out from the smoke, being carried by Moses right before he died. The revelation that their deaths might be a constant, unchangeable event sends Chloe reeling. Despite the horrifying news, Chloe and Max share a powerful, defiant kiss. It's a declaration that no matter what the universe throws at them, they're facing it together. They refuse to accept that this is another goodbye, choosing to fight for their time together, however long it might be. Max rushes to the admin building to confront someone about the fire, only to run into Safi, who reveals the truth. Yasmin was at the party when the student died and orchestrated the cover-up. Safi has been trying to expose her mother, believing she's also behind the impending fire. Max confronts Yasmin, who confesses to the cover-up decades ago, but denies planning the current fire. She reveals that Owen Teller was manipulated into the demolition plan, but she backed out after realizing how reckless it was. The body, however, has disappeared, and Yasmin seems genuinely clueless about who took it. As the protest escalates outside, Max realizes Vin must be the one who will start the fire. Suddenly, chaos erupts. A protester, Ren, throws a firebomb, and at the same time, an explosion is heard from Fremont Street. There are 2 fires, and the whole campus is descending into anarchy. Max finds Loretta trapped in the burning fine arts building. Using her rewind power repeatedly, she figures out a way to get her out, breaking down a locked door with a heavy trophy just in the nick of time. It's a heroic, high-stakes rescue that showcases her mastery over her abilities. Safi finds Chloe at the observatory and tries to convince her to run away with her, arguing that Max's power only brings them pain. She reveals that they are both hanging on by a thread, their existence unstable. Chloe refuses, choosing to stand by Max, which triggers a terrifying reality glitching event. In the surreal glitching space between realities, Safi is about to kill herself to end the paradox. Chloe talks her down, appealing to their shared experience of loss and trauma. It's a moment of profound connection, as Chloe convinces Safi that they can save each other and find a reason to live. Max finds herself back in the burning fine arts building, but this time she's prepared. She and the campus custodian work together to turn on the water valves for the sprinkler system, a desperate attempt to slow the fire and save anyone still trapped inside. She's not giving up. Not yet. On the roof of the observatory, Max, Chloe, Moses, and a now redeemed Safi are trapped. The escape ladder collapses, and Moses falls to his death. It's a gut-wrenching moment, and Max is devastated, believing she's failed to change fate. The fire seems to be an unmovable point in time. As the roof gives way, Chloe falls. In a moment of pure, instinctual love, she tells Max she's glad they had this time together. But as she falls, the screen shatters, and Max's power rewinds the moment, pulling Chloe back to safety. It's a stunning, impossible save, rewriting their tragic end. In the aftermath, a memorial is held for those who died in the fire. Yasmin gives a speech, taking responsibility and vowing to rebuild. Vin is revealed to have been the second arsonist, trying to destroy the evidence of the cover-up, and died in the process. The survivors are left to pick up the pieces. Max and Moses discuss the outcome. The fire still happened, proving it was likely inevitable. Max is now free from the burden of trying to fix everything, able to just live with the consequences like a normal person. She and Chloe decide to hit the road for a while, to finally live their lives. The final scenes show Max and Chloe on tour with a band, truly happy and free. They're living the life they were supposed to have, full of music, photography, and dive bars. It's a beautiful, hard-won piece, a culmination of all their struggles and sacrifices. Chloe reads a letter from Moses. He saved the original selfie Max used to jump back in time and sent it to Chloe, believing she should be the one to decide what to do with it. He poses the ultimate question: does Max risk it all to try again, or do they let it go? Chloe gives the photo to Max, leaving the choice in her hands. She makes Max promise that if she does go back, she'll find some version of Chloe and make sure she gets to be happy. It's an act of ultimate love and trust, acknowledging the impossible nature of their reality. The story concludes with Max and Chloe at a concert, in the present together. The choice of what to do with the photo hangs in the air, unanswered. They have their happy ending for now, but the power to rewrite it all rests in Max's hands, a persistent echo of the past. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.